Hello and welcome to my channel. So you've just been appointed a project manager or you've just been assigned a project to deliver, and you want to know what type of intelligences you're supposed to build or to perfect for you to deliver that project. Don't worry, in this video we are going to cover 7 types of intelligences that you have to build as a project manager, that you have to perfect as a project manager. So let's get into the details. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Oscar Mbira. I'm a certified program and a project manager. In this video, we are going to cover 7 types of intelligences that you must build and you must perfect as a project manager, either in your career as a project manager or it could be a one-time project management task. And if you are new to the channel, don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button so that you are the first one to be notified once a new video is uploaded on this channel. If you're in this video section, we are going to learn 7 types of intelligence that you must build as a project manager. So, 7 types of intelligence for project managers. Okay, right, so you have decided to be a project manager or you want to continue practicing as a project manager. There are certain intelligence that you must build within yourself as a project manager for you to be successful in your career or in your project implementations. So I'm going to leave a link in the description below if you want to access a checklist of what you should go through for you to become a project manager. We are not talking here about intellectual intelligence, which is normally called IQ, which comes through your birth. We are talking of intelligence that you can build as an individual and as a project manager as you go through your career. So the first one I'm going to look at is called emotional intelligence or EQ. So number 1, we're going to have what is called emotional intelligence. This is called EQ. So on emotional intelligence, what are we looking at? The first thing that you have to sort out on emotional intelligence is your own emotional management as a project manager. So we are talking of personal emotions. Throughout my experience, this is one of the things I've seen, or one of the items I've seen many project managers messing up. If you're not able to manage your personal emotions, it won't be very easy for you as a project manager to navigate different places, different meetings, different individuals. So make sure you start by working on your personal emotions in your career as a project manager. Number 2, you also be able to build relationships. So if your emotional intelligence is high, building relationships becomes very easy. Once you build a relationship, you have trust, you have loyalty, and also collaboration. So this is very important. When your emotional intelligence is very high, you manage your own personal emotions in any situation in the project as a project manager, and you also build relationships with different groups, different stakeholders of the project. So this is quite important that you should have this. Then also, you'll find that even under pressure, your composure under pressure is easy to manage. So no matter what pressure you're going through in the projects are always having pressures. They go up and down. If your composure is very good, coming from emotional intelligence, you'll find that it becomes very easy to manage as a project manager. You can also motivate others. Okay? You can also motivate others or even inspire. You can also inspire them. So if your emotional intelligence is very high, or you improve your emotional intelligence as a project manager, you will find that it will be very easy for you to motivate and also to inspire other stakeholders and also other project managers. Okay, so this is very, very important to know. Then you know that you are able to value feedback. If your intelligence is very high in terms of emotions, you are able to value feedback from each and every stakeholder, whether it's in a meeting, whether it's through activities, project activities. You'll find that being able to value feedback from people is very important. You might think as a project manager, whatever you're doing is right, but someone might tell you that, no, what you're doing is not right, do things this way. So if your emotional intelligence is very low, you won't tolerate people who give you the direct feedback, which is very, very important in your career as a project manager. So how do you build this? In most cases, you find active listening is very important. And also empathy. Talking of empathy, sorry. Okay, you must have empathy. So empathy is the ability to go into other people's shoes, view concepts, situation, the way they are viewing that. Then you'll be able to make the right decision. So this is also very important as a project manager. So this is number one. And throughout my career, I've seen that if you don't develop this kind of intelligence as a project manager, it won't be very easy. But if you develop this, you'll find that even during any very difficult situations, you will be able to progress with your project and also deliver. So let's move on to the next point. So this is a continuation. I want to call it continuation 1. Okay. So the next intelligence that you have to build as a project manager is what is called cultural intelligence. On cultural intelligence, this is very important. It's normally called CQ. Nowadays, it's not very easy and it's not very usual for a project to be run within the same culture. Most of the projects are now run with different cultures. So there are certain intelligence that you need to build within this culture. For example, you're going to be working with different people. So you need to value different people. You need to value different people. You also need to leverage. You also need to leverage different people or different cultures. Okay, sorry, this is different cultures, okay? It's important. You also need to work with different cultures. After working with a different culture, you also need to learn from different cultures. It's important that you also learn from different cultures. Okay? So, culture is very important. Let's move on to the next one. The next intelligence we are going to look at is called strategic intelligence. Strategic intelligence. Okay? It's called SI. Okay? So a project manager is always a leader. So when you're a leader, you must have strategic thinking, and you acquire that through your strategic intelligence. So what do we mean by this? You must have the ability to understand what is happening around you. Okay? So we have ability to understanding your surroundings. As a project manager, strategically, you should be able to understand your surroundings. You are also supposed to be able to engage in what is called foresight thinking. Let me put it in quotes. Foresight thinking. This means you're able to see in the future. You're able to see very far. Then, you're also supposed to engage in what is called back from the future. Back from the future. This is now your ability to see the future, and then you bring it back to the present moment so that people can understand where they're starting from and where they're going to. As a project manager, you need to think strategically to master this one. Then the next one, you should be able to combine short-term and long-term actions or objectives. Sorry about this. Objectives or goals. This is very important intelligence to acquire as a project manager. You should be able to combine long-term and short-term goals and objectives. Even if you're an internal project manager, you also need to know where the organization is going and how the project is going to help the organization in terms of achieving its long-term and short-term goals. So for strategic intelligence, this is what you need and it's very important. So let's move on to the next intelligence. So the next one is called resilience intelligence. Normally called RI. Okay? So what do we mean by this? Not every project is going to run smoothly. Even small projects, they can go the wrong way. Big projects, I've seen them, they go the wrong way. But as a project manager, if that happens, what are you supposed to do? The most important thing you have to do as a project manager is to be able to bounce back. You can bounce back from so many things. It could be delays. It could be discouragement. It can also be just a general setback on the project. So if you build your resilience intelligence, you will be able to bounce back as a project manager and also continue. You need also to pick failures as lessons. So during the running of the project, you might face a lot of challenges. Some of them are very discouraging. Some of them, they're delays. that you can experience. Some of them are setbacks. And also you might have done things the wrong way. We call them failures. But as a project manager, don't take them as failures. You need to take these ones as lessons learned. Then you pick it from there. Okay? Then, where it's also very possible, you take all the challenges, okay? With optimism, okay? So, as you build your resilient intelligence, take challenges with optimism. They always come. You always come across this. So embrace them. Okay? So we need to go to the next section, or the next intelligence that we have to look into. It's called morale intelligence. So I'm going to put number 5 here. Morale intelligence. It's called MQ. Okay? So, you're a project manager. I've been a project manager for some time. There are certain things which you are going to come across, certain situations you're going to come across, certain scenarios you're going to come across where your morale principles or your morale is going to be stretched. I can give you a good example, especially when you're working with suppliers, contractors. They try to do so many things so that they get the contract to be involved in that project. So if your principles are not very strong, you don't build your moral intelligence strongly. If your morale is not very strong, you realize that you will be found in the wrong side of the law and of the principles. So what are you supposed to do here? You must remain principled. Okay? And also, you must protect your integrity. You must protect your integrity. You also have to do what is right. Here you don't do what they want, you do what is right. So this is very important. You need to protect your morale. You do what is right. Once your morale is done here, you gain trust. You gain trust amongst you gain trust amongst the stakeholders. So this is the 5th intelligence that you have to build. You have to perfect as a project manager. Let's move on to the next intelligence that you need to build. So the next intelligence that we're going to look at, okay, this is continuation 3, okay, 4 I think. The next intelligence that we're going to look at is called institutional intelligence. Institutional intelligence. Okay, it's called II, okay, institutional intelligence. So, you're a project manager. As a project manager, you should be able to understand how your institution works. When you understand how your institution works, then you're able to navigate to get results. Okay? Once you're able to navigate to get results, you're also able to align with processes or even procedures within your organization. This is very important. You should have institutional intelligence. Understand how your institution works. Be able to identify even areas of improvement. Okay? So identify areas of improvement in your institution. This is very important. If you don't understand your institution, you won't be able to identify areas of improvement. All right? So the last one that we are looking at is called number 7, storytelling intelligence. Okay? It's normally called SQ. Okay. So, as a project manager, you must be a very good storyteller. You want people to understand, you want people to achieve, you want people to visualize what you have in your mind. So for you to be able to make that visualization happen, you must have very good storytelling. Okay? So you want to influence. That is very important. You want to influence others. You want to change mindsets. Okay? Okay? You also want to touch the hearts and the souls of people. Okay? As a project manager, this is very important. You want to explain to people, you want to give people examples on how things should be done. If your storytelling is not very good, it will be very difficult to pass that information. You want to influence people's thinking in the project, all the stakeholders, all project members. For you to be able to influence them, you must have a thinking that is going to come through your storytelling that you can push through to the stakeholders to appreciate your point. So these are the main 7 items that you have to look at, or 7 intelligence that you have to build, perfect as a project manager. I hope you are enjoying the video so far. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button so that you are the first one to be notified once a new video is uploaded on this channel. Let us summarize the 7 types. Remember, we said there are 7 types of intelligence that a project manager is supposed to build or perfect. These ones do not come through your birth. You have to work towards them. You need to build them for you to become a very effective project manager and be able to deliver projects within the timeline, within the scope, and also within the budget. So the first one that we have looked at is called emotional intelligence, or EQ. What do you mean by EQ? You must be able to manage your emotions as a project manager, as an individual, before you go to others. Then once your emotions are well under control, you might be able to build relationships with all stakeholders, okay? So once you build your relationships with your stakeholders, you gain trust, you gain loyalty, and also collaboration becomes very easy, right? And then composure is very important. If you're a project manager, you must have high composure in any situation. I was under pressure because the project had delayed for known reasons. However, everyone was throwing stones at me. It was only this composure that saved me from that situation. Otherwise, if I didn't have this composure, it was going to turn into something else. Then you should be able to motivate or inspire others. If your emotions are under control, if your emotional intelligence is very high, you are able to inspire and motivate others. Then you also value feedback. This is very important. If your emotional intelligence is very high, you get feedbacks from different stakeholders, from different project managers, from different directions. They could be suppliers, they could be customers. They give you different feedback. If that is what is coming to you and you manage it properly, you find that your project is going to be easy. The second one is cultural. It's now normal these days that you work with people in different spaces, different continents, different offices, different regions, different countries. In one of the projects I was managing before, I had 8 nationals. So understand, I had 8 nationals, which means 8 different cultures. So in most cases, you find cultural intelligence can also help you if you perfect it. We have different cultures in the world, different people. Different cultures, they look at things different way. Their output is different. The work culture, work ethics is different. So if you have got a project that is multicultural, you should make sure that you perfect your cultural intelligence. Otherwise, if you don't do that, you will face different challenges working with other cultures. So it's very important you value different people. It's also very important that you leverage different cultures within the project. It's also very important that you submit yourself to work with the different cultures in the project. Most stakeholders will be coming from different cultures. So you also learn from other cultures. This is how you improve. You might think your own way of doing things or your cultural way of doing things is best. But when you work with other different cultures, you might see a different way of doing things, but achieving the same result. The third one we are looking at is called strategic intelligence. This is very important for a project manager. A project manager is a leader naturally. So when you're a leader, you should be able to see things strategically. You should be able to see the future. You should be able to do what is called back from the future. You see the future, you bring it today, you push people to move to the future. You must also have what is called the ability to understand your surroundings, and also the ability to do what is called foresight thinking. As a project manager, most of the times we are picking up risks, we are identifying risks. How do you identify risks? Because you have what is called foresight thinking. If this one does not work very well in future, how am I going to react to this? So this is also very important. Then the other important thing is you are able to combine short-term and long-term objectives. Remember, you're perfecting your strategic thinking. So which means you are aware of the short-term goals, you are aware of the long-term goals. Then you should be able to combine these two once you perfect your intelligence. So this is quite important. Let's move on to the fourth one. The fourth intelligence we are looking at is called resilience. Okay? Sorry, this is RQ. Okay? It's called resilience intelligence. What do you mean by that? Projects, unless if something that is very small, very small, not small, but very small, even small projects can go the wrong way. So you find that you are set back by certain activities, you are discouraged by certain activities, or there are certain delays which are also affecting your project. So if you have perfected your resilience intelligence, you'll be able to bounce back and progress the project. Whether you're creating a product, whether you're constructing a house, a bridge, software, you name it, you should be able to bounce back after these setbacks. Then, as a project manager, don't take failures as total failures. Take failures as lessons learned, so that next time you become better. Then the third one is when there are any challenges, take them with optimism, okay? Challenges always come in a project. I've gone through a lot of challenges, but if you see a challenge, you run away, then it will be very difficult for you to be an effective project manager. It's better you manage the challenge if you cannot solve it. Okay? Then the fifth one is called moral intelligence. As a project manager, this one is very critical. You work with different characters, different companies with different cultures. They might try to divert you from your principles to fit theirs. So it's important that you are very much in control of your principles. You protect also your integrity, as well as doing the right things in the project. There are so many temptations. I've gone through that process, I know very well. There are so many temptations where a lot of suppliers, they want to be part of the project, so they try to do a number of things which you should be able to say no. So you should be able to say no. You should be able to say no to the wrong things. You should be able to say yes to the right things. Then also you gain trust. Once your morale is very high, you gain trust. So the next two intelligence, we're going to look at them. So this is called institutional intelligence. Just a few managers, they work independently. Most of them, they are governed by institutions. It could be a corporate institution. It could be an NGO, non-governmental organization. It could be even government. Whatever the institution, you need to understand how your institution works. There are some institutions which are quick to fire PMs. If something goes wrong in a project, it's the project manager they fire. There are some institutions which are very difficult to get even sign-offs for any product, for any deliverable. So if you have that intelligence within yourself or you build it in your institution, it will be very easy for you to navigate through the institution. So if you understand the institutional intelligence, it will be very easy for you to navigate and get what you want to be done. You will also be able to align yourself with the institutional processes and procedures, and also you are able to identify areas of improvement. The last one is storytelling. By the way, this order is not of importance. This is just a list, numbered lists. Any of these intelligence is very important for you to build as you go through your career or as you become a project manager. So storytelling is also very important. It's your ability to foresee things and then explain them to other stakeholders to appreciate either the stage of the project, what you want to do in the project, the expected deliverables. So storytelling is very, very important. When you're storytelling, you should be able to influence people. This is very important also. If you are able to construct your story, you are able to influence people. If you are able to construct your story, you can also change mindsets. You might find there are some people who might think this is now going to end. This project is never going to be successful. So if you are able to storytell what you want to do, what you visualize, you will be able to change people's mindsets. And that will also improve the project. You can also touch the hearts and the souls. Because you are so passionate about what has happened and you have crafted your story towards that, you find stakeholders, they become aligned to your thinking, they become aligned to your vision, and that will push the project forward. So this is very, very important. These are the 7 intelligences that you have to build.